The EPA has rolled back the international air pollution rules for Arizona. I know, big news with everything else going on in the world. Why are we talking about this? The Arizona economy, for me, I work in concentric circles from the inside out. I locally first. I love the state of Arizona. This has been my home for 30 years. I've lived here longer than I've lived anywhere else in the country. I say that I grew up in Southwest Florida. Those were my formative years. My childhood, my very early childhood was in Northeast Ohio. Don't remember much about Northeast Ohio other than it snowed like crazy in the wintertime and the Cuyahoga River caught on fire. But my formative years were spent in Southwest Florida, but I've been in Arizona for 30 years, and I fell in love the very first time I came to this great place. And I will tell you that I want to preserve everything about it. The beauty of Arizona is something incredible. I had a great discussion with someone about Arizona and about the changes, and one of our upcoming episodes, which will be released soon, is with Ted Geisler, and he's from APS. He's the CEO of Pinnacle West and APS, and he's got such an interesting story, a third-generation Arizonan. And in these podcasts that we do, we dig a little deeper with people about their personal stories, and you learn things. And I learned a lot about him. He's a good man. But more than anything, is it an interesting story? His background, a horse trainer, was going to be a veterinarian, and ends up running this huge utility, but he has a heart for this state. And when you hear him talk, everything went back to what's best for Arizona because he grew up here. He's third generation. So that's what I love about Arizona is the pride that Arizonans take in being from here and the beauty of this state. So the idea that people that are pro-business like I am or like he is, and I'm not, these are my words, not his, but anybody that's involved in industry in Arizona or pro-industry in Arizona, that somehow they're anti-environment is absolutely false. The real environmentalists, in my opinion, the genuine environmentalists are the hunters and the anglers in Arizona, the ones that have a vested interest in the herds and the fish and keeping them thriving. The ranchers and the farmers, the people that have for generations lived off the land in this great state. Those are the real, in my opinion, those are the real environmentalists. And when you talk about what got me thinking about this today, these EPA rules that are changing, it's because Arizona does a very good job. We spend more money on a blend of gasoline than we need to. We are well above what the national standard is for fuel, for the air pollution because of fuel. And we've kept it there. I don't know that it's the right thing, but we have. We are not polluting the air. Our air is being polluted internationally, and it's been proven scientifically, so this changed. Earlier today, I played Chris Matthews. Chris Matthews, former MSNBC host, was on cable news, and he was talking about tariffs, and he was complaining because lumber, we buy lumber from Canada. What are we going to do? Just have more lumber here? This is such an interesting thing that he said.
I watched on the evening news last night, one of the other networks, and I watched the issue of lumber. Now, you see, we get so much of our lumber, our 2x4s, from Canada. Where we get it from? Canada. We get our newsprint from up there for newspapers. The fact is we get it. What are we going to do? Have more lumber made in the United States now? What is our plan now? Oh, we're not going to import wood, so we're going to make more wood? We're going to create more wood? Is that it? I don't think we are in a position to simply replicate the imports coming into this country with our own products. It can't always be done. And I think if a wood's example of that, wood. Are we going to make more wood in this country because of our trade deal? I don't think so.
We should. There is a big conversation about the Western United States, especially about federal land that goes completely unused, federally managed land that could be used for housing. We have a housing shortage. That's federal land that's on the edges of densely urban area. But what about some of the other protected lands and the EPA rules and the different restrictions we have? We have, if you're new to Arizona, I'm telling you, pay attention to fire season. The fire danger here is no joke. No humidity. It is so blazing hot in the summertime. It gets so dry. Literally one spark can spark a forest fire in an instant. And people find out too late. They think that people are being over concerned, and they're not. But we don't have the ability to get into where the fires are many times. And thousands and thousands and thousands of acres burn unnecessarily. Northern Arizona, the White Mountains, I always picture the White Mountains, and it could be other places as well, but up in the White Mountains especially, it's a beautiful part of the state. But we have the largest ponderosa pine forest in the country, in the world. And we could have a thriving logging industry that would actually manage our forest better. And we don't. So when Chris Matthews talks about this, I'm thinking about the Arizona economy. I talked earlier about the copper projects. If you look at the mining industry in Arizona, it's a big part of what we do, especially copper. It's one of the 5 C's. But when you look at those, the copper mines, but all of the mines here, it is such a big part of our exports out of Arizona, a big part of our economy. Those mining companies are different than they were 50 years ago, like every company is different than they were 50 years ago. I talk so much about the Resolution copper mine because I know more about that one. I've been in that mine. I've sat down with the leadership that here in Superior and talked and listened to them talk about how proud they are of this project. It goes 6,700 feet underground. It's the largest vein of copper, I think, that they've just almost ever found. I don't want to overstate it, but it is copper rich. It's 25% of the copper needs. But you know what they're proud of? They're proud of the environmentally friendly way they're doing it. It is not going to destroy the environment. It's not going to harm the environment in any way. We are concerned about water. They have all the water they need. As a matter of fact, they're giving millions of gallons of water away. When they utilize the water, they treat the water and reclaim it, and they send it out to the farmers and ranchers in the surrounding areas so that those farmers and ranchers aren't pulling that groundwater out of the ground. So it is one of those situations where we can, and we should, support the environment. I really, people think I'm being sarcastic. I consider myself an environmentalist. We should be preserving and watching out for our environment, but that doesn't mean that you can't farm the land, that you cannot mine and get what you need, that you cannot have a thriving industry in the timber industry and pay people great wages and create industry that creates jobs and the tax revenue to pay for the things that we want in Arizona through our government, and not balance it with the environment. This restrictive attitude that you either want to stop all of these things or you're pro-business is ridiculous. There is a medium that should be met. And Chris Matthews is a statement in ignorance about Arizona and other places in this country.
Thanks for watching the Mike Broomhead Show. Catch up on Amazing Arizonans, a KTAR News podcast, and click the button in the middle to subscribe.